Shite might cyanide cyanide.
Radius to the earth.
On the level.
The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the earth. It really
totally
is.
agree with you.
Level.
It really
totally
is.
agree with you.
Level.
And there's the radius to the earth.
There was two parts to what you said, wasn't there? Did you bring the other
Oh.
half of?
The other half where, don't worry about that. That was more of an icebreaker, way to get you to talk.
No. What do you mean? Don't worry about that. What did you say?
I think I said not to you that to someone else that.
No. What did you say about
I'm
me?
telling you that I said DP make a claim that the horizon is a straight line, therefore the Earth is flat.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I told you to get what? Or did I tell you to go and get?
Well, first you said to quote you where you said just exactly that.
Exactly. To quote me where I say that the horizon is a straight line, therefore the Earth is flat. Okay, so have you got that quote?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't quoting you then.
Yeah, yes you were. You put it in quotation marks.
Well, okay. I may have actually, it was late, I may have put it in quotation.
No, you did
Okay.
exactly that. You did exactly that. So you
Okay.
were quoting me.
Well, then
If you put it in quotation marks, it is verbatim. Do you understand? Do you understand what that means?
Sure, I do.
Okay, what does verbatim mean?
Word for word.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
See, that
So,
I did know.
Do you have the verbatim quote of me saying that the horizon is a straight line, therefore the Earth is flat?
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
Quote.
So what do you owe me?
Oh, gee, I'm sorry I put it in quotation marks then. I was actually trying to set it off with the quotation marks so that it didn't look like those were my words, but somebody else's, as though they were a direct quotation. Okay, so fine, they weren't a direct quotation.
So
not that part.
Have you apologized? Was that an apology?
Yeah. I'm sorry I put it in quotation marks.
Thank you.
Next time I'll find another way. I'll put it in asterisk, something like that. That's not a quotation.
That's fine.
Something.
That's fine.
All right.
Because
that's fine.
You were unable to find this. I gave you the first half of the quote. I said, yes, the horizon is a straight line. I gave that back to you straight away. But the second half of the quote, you couldn't find that, could you?
Well, the second half of the quote I didn't find because I just was saying that I was saying basically that's the types of things that you would say when you're calling me a moron and idiot and everything else.
That's the types of things that I would say. So you were making stuff up then, really, yeah?
Well, shall we say amalgamating? Yes, I get it. Amalgamating, yes. It's to say, in other words, that I'm putting things together from many comments over a period of time.
And coming up with bullshit.
Well, start with bullshit, end with bullshit, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that is basically what you do. Yeah, well done. Good admission.
Yeah, welcome to the globe.
Absolutely. Right, well, I am willing to have this chat with you, but I'm just about to eat, so if you want to hang around for 10, 15 minutes, shoot the breeze with the others, then yeah, we'll have the chat.
Can't hurt. I have just about an hour to get ready for work, so actually I'll have to kind of wonder if there's a way to do this because I also have to try and put my stove back together. I had to do some repairs. Crap. Well.
You still need to do some repairs on your mic.
Well, I need to find a way to make this work better. I turned the gain down a little bit. I hope I'm not over-modulating this badly.
No, it's just really horrible. Really horrible. Anyway, I'm going to go and eat because my dinner's ready.
All right.
So, catch you in a bit.
All right. Have a good meal.
Thank you.
Oops, where am I?
Wow. Which chat can you see? Because like we're big
Oh,
on
right.
the. Can you see room 101? Because I'm gonna post a thing in there for a quote and what a quote is. Right.
I just wanted to say really quick, if you changed your mic from the minute you first came in here to whatever it's at now, put it back to when you first came in here.
No, nothing changed. Other than the gain, I turned the gain down just a hair.
Okay.
I think Emma said it was a little overmodulated.
Yeah, but there's some crackle, like there's some static on the line, like a wire, or I'm not entirely sure. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is because I can't hear it. I don't hear it at all. It'd be interesting if somebody
it
would.
Fuzzes, yeah. It goes weird.
I'm thinking. I wonder if maybe somebody could record it and then send me a link to a recording so I can hear what it sounds like.
I guess, yeah, if someone is recording. Yeah.
It depends
Record,
if you do something worth recording, and we might put it out.
Well, apparently in 10 minutes I'll have a spicy argument with DP.
You reckon?
Comes back.
Do
It's
a mic
possible.
check real quick. Do a mic check. Say level is horizontal.
Okay, level is horizontal.
Good, thank you.
That sounds
That
good.
sounded perfect.
Now let's the bet that ends up on some video somewhere.
You know that quote thing, right? Because I've had this with a few trolls on Twitter. You do understand that when you quote it at somebody and you say you said this and then quote it, that's like, it's virtually as though they've actually said it, right? You're putting it in quote marks means you are quoting somebody that said it.
Yeah, I realized that, and I was trying to think of a better way to do it. And
You just not put it in quote marks, right? Because that quote mark is the sort of the sign to say that somebody actually has said it. I mean, I wouldn't quote me on this, like, but if you quote it and say somebody has said it and put it in quote marks, then and they haven't actually said it, that's like libel. That's like slandering somebody. I mean, it's hard to prove, right? But you saying that somebody has said something and putting it in quote marks, that makes it official, right? That is what is officially called libel. Like, there's no other way to say it. That
I see what you're saying. Yeah, sure. I think. I personally wouldn't care to be misquoted in quote marks either. I've been misquoted many times even without the quote marks. But I just probably at 2:30 in the morning, I didn't think of a better way to phrase it. And I probably should have left out the quotes. I will accept that responsibility.
That's good.
We'll find a better way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd try and hold back from the, like, assuming other people say things and stuff. That I find there's a lot of that in this, what we go through, is that you guys imagine we say something. Maybe somebody else tells you that we've said something that we haven't actually said.
Yeah, that could be too. I usually think it's better to quote only what you actually experience yourself and know that not but somebody else said that somebody else said it. But yeah, those quotes that I put in there weren't actual quotes. Usually when I'm going to do an actual quote, I do a copy text or a reply. In the end, what I was really getting at wasn't whether or not the Earth was flat, because in fact, the horizon would be circular even on a flat Earth. And he did say literally that the horizon was a straight line. And I asked him questions. How could that be? Could you tell me what I should see if I turned my back on that straight line? No response, no answer. But he did call me all the names in the world that he could think of, and I thought, well, that's his best argument. It sounds like I won. See, Beth, I recall you saying that you preferred people to be more respectful. Yeah. And when he can't answer a question, he says, I'm an idiot, I'm a moron, or other names. I could probably go back over it and actually come up with quotes.
Dude, I don't want to really talk about other people. We don't do that sort of stuff.
No,
wait till he comes back, right? But I would say that even what you've just said to me, he did say that the horizon was a straight line.
And I do quote that.
Right, so he did answer you. Right, it's just that you said it was a circle. So, you have a different point of view. He says it's a straight line. You say it's a circle.
I say, and I challenged his claim that it's a straight line. He didn't answer
saying
that.
It's a circle.
No. Not by saying it's a circle, by saying, what would I see if I turned my back on that straight line? If I turned looking out at the ocean, maybe, you see a straight line. Yes? It appears to be a straight line. I agree, it looks like a straight line.
Yes.
But if it were actually a straight line and not an illusion, then when I turned my back on that straight line, I wouldn't see a horizon, would I?
Sorry. Have you got eyes in the back of your head, or are you looking at another straight line in the opposite direction to where you just saw a straight line at the horizon?
And if I look in the opposite direction for where I just saw a horizon that looks like a straight line. And if it's not land, I mean, maybe you're on a boat in an ocean and you can see the horizon. Would I not also still see a horizon?
Yeah, straight line.
A straight line. So
third Donegon.
Yeah.
Like in a week.
Straight line.
It's a straight line, and so there's more than one.
What?
There's more than one horizon?
Yeah, all of them shared straight line segments. You know what happens? There's a saying that we have round here that no two straight lines can share a common segment. It's sort of a song we're leading into. No two... I don't know. I can't really get a tune going yet, but somebody will.
Yeah.
Right,
The optical... I'm not gonna...
Yeah, that's why we say that. I've got to make the missus a brew. So, have a go, Clary, if you want.
Yeah, so ICQ, you look out across the horizon, you see a horizontal line, right?
I see something that looks like a horizontal line, yes.
So you could
it appears.
You could take a photograph and you could put a ruler against that photograph. You'd have a horizontal line, right? Looking out, that's what you see, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I will.
Yeah, let's say you turn 15 degrees to the right. You're looking out again. See that same horizontal flat line, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Turn 15 degrees, on and on and on, all the way around. Every time you look out, You see that horizontal line, right?
Yes.
So there you go.
Okay. But
Do you think that that horizontal line, that when you look out and see it, do you think somehow that becomes a circle around you?
it doesn't become one, it is one. How would... Okay. Let me ask you. Which direction do you have to look to see the horizon closer than in another direction?
I don't know. It depends on weather and light. Depends where you're at. It's a different variable there.
Well, I'll make this easier if you're game. Let's eliminate things like atmospheric refraction and say, that's not the point. Let's just talk about it from a geometry point of view.
Yeah, let's say you're standing on an island. The light in your area is uniform. All conditions are uniform in every direction. You're on an island. You turn 15 degrees and you look out, but you look out with your eyes at the horizontal horizon. It's a straight line all the way around. That's what you see every time you look.
So
Right?
from the left of your periphery to the right of your periphery, the horizon appears to be a straight line. True?
Right. Yep.
Okay. Now,
Yep. So
and I agree.
you-
It does.
you want to make that circumference of horizontals that you, with your eyes, see. You want to somehow turn that into a circle. Yeah, why? It's not a shape. It never will be. No one's ever going to see that circle that you think that you're looking at, right? I mean, can you go up, way up in an airplane and look down and see that circle that you think exists?
Okay. I see what you're getting at. And yeah, you're not going to probably see it because when you get in the airplane, your view of the horizon becomes different from when you're not in the airplane over that same point because of altitude. I get it. I mean, I get that.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Just because, I mean, yeah, if you knew where the boundaries were, say you said 15 degrees. So I look straight out to the dead south, right, for example, and I see a horizon. And we'll have somebody get in a boat, drive out there, drop a marker buoy. Big, bright red marker buoy right at the point where the water meets the sky. Then I go 15 degrees over and I go and take a look with my own eyes, have somebody in my boat, out there in the boat, drop another marker buoy. Right there where I say, I get on the radio, say, that's the spot, drop it there. Then I turn another 15 degrees and I do this through 360 degrees around my island. And then I get in my airplane, fly over, I would see marker buoys. Those marker buoys would be, if I were to connect the dots, would be in the shape of a circle, not a straight line.
Would that represent the horizontal line that you saw every time you turned around?
From the top of that would be looking at from another angle on the same thing on another angle, which case you could see all of the points at the same time.
Can you see in the debate discussion?
Yeah, let's see, where are we? Here we are. So you're sending, I'm about to receive a graphic. Okay. A Donegon?
The Donegon. Named after Don. Don Treader, whatever. Is that what you imagine? Is that what you imagine the circumference of horizontal lines around you to be?
Well, yeah, but no. I mean, actually, I don't see that. I mean, I get it. This kind of approximates a circle. But do I think that's what we're seeing?
Listen to yourself. It kind of approximates a circle.
Okay, and that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wouldn't necessarily agree with this diagram, because It doesn't, because the horizon doesn't approximate a circle. It is a circle. This approximates.
I didn't even have to tell you what this was. You looked at it and you recognize those horizontals that you see when you look out. Imagine you're standing in the middle looking out. You see a horizontal line, which actually extends probably way further than this little gonagon. But this is just an example of trying to conflate a circumference around you that is incongruent with horizontal lines that you observe with your eyes. They are dependent upon the observer. That circle does not exist. Okay? That circle does not exist in reality. People obsessed with shapes, people who think they live on a ball, they want to pretend like there's a circle around.
Oh, this wouldn't matter whether you're on the circular horizon. Doesn't matter whether it's a flat Earth or a spherical Earth. It doesn't make any difference. It's still a circle. This diagram,
if you
let me ask you.
If you think the horizon is the physical edge of your sphere that creates a separation between the sky and the ground you're on, and you think that you're on a ball, right? So that sphere would be dropping away from more rapidly on the sides than it would be in the center of your field of view. In the center of your field of view, it would be the peak of that edge of that ball. Okay, you don't experience that. You don't live on a cylinder. Okay, you know that you don't live on a cylinder, but you want to try to conflate the sphere with the cylinder and try to make it work on a ball. It just doesn't work.
Wait, who mentioned cylinder? I didn't mention cylinder. Are you quoting me?
I'm not quoting you now, but I've talked to many people.
Okay. I don't think we live on a cylinder. I'm not conflating cylinders with spheres. I'm saying the only real reason that we don't see any drop off on the left and the right is that we're far too close to the horizon to be able to see it. We'd have to be out in.
What would you define the horizon as?
Well, I'm okay. I'm okay with stipulating that the horizon is the limit of your vision. Probably for a different reason than. No, I don't agree it's because of vanishing point, but I will agree that your vision is limited by the horizon. No, I didn't say vanishing point.
You said it's the limit of your vision.
A lot of things can limit my vision.
So you feel like yeah. It's the same
okay,
thing.
so it's the limit of how far you can see.
Okay, all right. How about this? You say it's not the vanishing point. You say other things can limit your vision. So uniformly across that straight horizontal line, whatever is limiting your vision is absolutely consistent throughout that horizontal.
It's pretty consistent. I mean, I don't know about absolutely, because I don't want to be quoted as saying, "Oh, it's absolutely." Somebody says, "Well, what about tides?" or "What about?" No, it's within a very small margin. It would be a very small margin of error. It would be very much the same thing, limiting your vision in every direction, all other things being equal.
So what is the factor that limits your vision uniformly across that horizontal line?
In my proposition, it's that the curve of the Earth is causing the horizon. I mean, I don't think we even need to ask. I'm stating the obvious.
You just jumped back to that. You just said that was not it.
The curve limits how far I can see the Earth. Yeah, the curvature limits my vision.
You just said it was not the sphere edge of the Earth. Your vision is limited by other.
When did I say that? Wait a minute. Where did I say that?
Okay, I just said if you look out on a sphere, the center of your field of view should be higher on a sphere, and the ends to the right or the left should drop away. But the horizon you see is a horizontal line. You said, well, I can't see the sphere edge because other factors limit my vision. And then I said, across that straight horizontal line, what is the limiting factor that is consistent all the way across that horizontal line?
All the way across that horizontal line, the limit is how do I say this? I'm not going to get misquoted. Let's see. It's.
Can I help
Let
you?
me start with, yeah, if you'd like.
Aperture.
Okay. That sounds like we're going for Rayleigh's criteria again. Which again is another one of these vanishing point type arguments. The horizon, I would not say is the result. Eyeballs have apertures too. No, I get it. Yeah, our eyes have aperture, and we can get into Rayleigh criteria, but let's face it, that's not really. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole right now.
There's a limiting factor to your vision that remains uniform across that horizontal line in your field of view. You say it's which is it now? I'm confused. Is it the sphere edge or is it not?
No, it's due to the sphere. The reason is that, I mean, something can block my view. If I, for seeing something, let's say I look straight up in the air, I see nothing but sky. As I roll my eyes down, I might see a mountain starting to show up. That mountain is in front of the sky. It's limiting my view of the sky. That would be a limiting factor. So here I'm saying the same kind of thing, except take the mountain out.
Okay.
Yeah, the geometry of optics.
You're throwing in like. Yeah.
So what limits my view of the sky is what limits my view of the sky is the Earth. And it does so at the horizon. The horizon is where the Earth blocks my view of the sky.
But it's based on the aperture.
Okay.
That's a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. So you're saying that you have a 180-degree field of view. Is that right? If you're on a desert island, you have a 180-degree field of view. You can see the sunrise and the sunset from your observation point right there.
From any single observation, my eye is going to be limited to only about 120 degrees. But yeah, let's say I can turn around and look 120 degrees in 3 directions. I'll have hit the whole circle, right?
120 degrees.
What
circle? 3 directions.
Yeah, periphery to periphery, right?
Going back to the circle again. All right, so yeah. Anyway, are you familiar with I won't go down that path.
Okay.
There's so many roads I could travel down, but I won't do it. Are you here, Bev, or did Primate?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. I didn't want to get down a big side street somewhere. I'm very prone to doing that.
Oh, well. You know, we're on definitions of words and all of that, and you just said a proposition before about what was it? You laid out a proposition of a curved horizon, did you?
Yeah.
I would say that the horizon is a circle. Yeah, that's my proposition. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'm using the word wrong. Is that it?
Well, yeah.
The proposition word?
Yeah, that's where it said like the word proposition is it's a proposal or a plan or something to be offered up as an argument, right? But an argument needs to be supported. You can't just have a fanciful idea as an argument.
I added another word.
Go on.
I added another word to my whiteboard.
Etymology. Nice.
I put that on there this morning and used definitions of words.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I see. Okay.
So, like, when you propose something, I mean, you're not like proposing it like as it says in the for sexual request for sexual relations. It's not that. It's not that sort of proposition, is it? You know, like you don't like offer up the curve of the horizon in that sort of propositional way. So it's got to be
the kind of
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the kind of proposition where I'm asking you to marry me. Really, I think you have a wife you find.
Okay, so but like all I hear from your side whenever you're saying anything for your proposition of it is that that's what you see, but you don't actually see it. So you seem to be arguing from like a perception sort of thing.
So, yeah, do I see the circle? I'm not in the right place to see the circle. So I see the inside edge of a circle. How do I know it's a circle? Because if I look in any direction, whether it's because of Rayleigh criteria or whether it's something else, vanishing point, etc., or whether it's a curve of the Earth, if I look one direction, I see what appears to be a straight line in front of me, that is the horizon. The nearest point to me should be that perpendicular to that line.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you look at the Donogram,
all perpendiculars would be perpendicular to that straight line, right?
No, the shortest distance to the straight line from the observer will be a perpendicular to the straight line. That's Euclid. So
yeah, well, all verticals would be perpendicular to that line also.
Yes, except we're looking at.
It seems to work on many planes, this, doesn't it?
Well, okay, so now if I look at the Donogram, and I just happen to see the bottom of it here, and I see a bold, darkish line that goes from 14 to 8. Do you see that?
Do you see that? Do you see that as a plan view when you see that? Because I mean, this is one of those things that we're gonna be going over its perception, right? That's like when you see the Dornagon.
Yeah.
Do you see that as like a plan? Are you looking down on it?
I presume, because I have no background on this Donegal, I presume
it's just a geometric shape,
the
isn't it?
aerial view. Yeah, that would be aerial view.
Oh right.
Idea.
See, I don't like we do this sort of thing, but I mean, like I don't. You know what I see in the Dornagon?
What do you see?
I see water levels. I see your version. To me, it's a Dornagon version of a water level, horizontal of what you guys imagine a water level is.
Okay, I see. I think I see what you're saying. If we're on a sphere, then wherever you are, you're looking at your water levels. You see that line. What I picked 8 and 14. You see that line 8 and 14. If you're standing in the middle of that on the circumference of the Donegal, or somewhere near it, like on that line, a black line, you're saying that the water would be flat. This is on a sphere. Why this makes no sense? Because 8 and 14 are clearly higher than the middle point between them.
Yeah, so that sort of goes to show that water levels wouldn't do that, would they? But I mean, that's just me. Like, so I imagine that's what you guys see with the water level. Well, that's how I see the Donegal. But you before we're seeing it as a little Lego man's like at the NO position in the middle, looking out and seeing those lines as horizontal horizons. So see, whichever way you look at the Donegal, it has horizontals that are not horizontal. You know, like it's really weird, isn't it? That's why Donegal's such a special shape.
I only saw it as a suggested view of the horizon from many different angles, as because that was the context in which it was presented.
Yeah,
I can see it.
The other one, it's the way I look at it as a way for you guys to be able to have a concept of a straight line, but just sort of put a circular shape in there. I mean, you can't obviously have a circular shape because we know that there's no way on earth that you can measure a curve. And you can't really describe a curve, so you have to go with straight lines and tilty sort of things rather than the curve and all of that. I mean, this is 2020. We're moving on.
Yeah. Why is it we can't have a curve? You can't have a curve. Everything is straight lines.
No, I said you can't measure a curve. How do you measure a curve, please? How would you measure a curve? How do you usually measure a curve?
How do you mean, the length of the curve?
Yeah, how do you measure a curve? Just give me this is how I usually measure a curve. I do it like this.
I guess it depends on the measuring. You got to be more specific, I think.
Well,
what are you measuring?
Have a go at describing a curve for us, will you? Go on. I describe a curve like this. Go.
I can't think why I would. It looks like a spirograph. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Bev.
Hang on, can I... Hello, ICQ, I'm back again. How you doing?
Hello.
Yeah, nice bit of chicken.
Mm.
Chicken creamy sauce. Yum.
Yeah, it's all right. He was just not being able to describe a curve. Never mind measure one. But so you can have a come back.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I give him a comparison? How would you describe a square?
Okay. A square, quadrilateral, in which all the angles are 90 degrees and the sides are all equal.
Okay. So that was easy enough for you. So why can't you do the same thing with a circle?
You can, easily. So shape defined by a center point where all the points on the circle are equidistant from that center point.
Equidistant from a center point. So you need a center point to describe that circle, yeah?
Oh, we were just dealing with the curve, DP. You expanded it a bit. He was struggling with how to describe a curve. You've sort of shown him the way. You sort of cheated there. You sort of...
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, see, I was all happy for my dinner, see. My chicken dinner. It was lovely.
Do you want to try that again then, ICQ? How would you describe a curve?
Your arbitrary general curve, something, a series, I would say a series of points that may or may not have any relationship to anything else. I don't know.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. How would I come up with an arbitrary definition to an arbitrary question? There's no specificity. You tell me how to describe a circle, I can describe a circle.
Specificity? Where did we hear that the other day? That was a good one, that.
I don't know, where did you hear it?
Sorry, Bev. I need to hear that again. Can you run me by that, please, again, one more time? The series of some things that may or may not have a relationship to something else.
Something outside themselves. They only relate to themselves, yes. And they may only relate to themselves.
And I wonder you lot are confused, you know.
Okay. I guess. How would you? I guess. Here, let's do this then. Let's turn this around. How would you define a curve?
You can't answer.
Wow, that sounds like a brilliant question.
That sounds like a WS strategy. Bro. That does. Where did you pull that from?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Where did you pull that one from?
Oh, I got it from you guys. You asked me any old arbitrary curve. How would you measure it?
Yeah, no. How would you describe a curve? And then DP came back, gave it to you, and then you went back to not being able to know how you can do it.
No, I'm not saying I don't know how. Wait, he gave it to me. He said, "How would you define a circle?" I did define a circle.
Well, isn't that a curve?
Yeah, I was
A
gonna
circle's
go there.
not a curve.
Is it not?
A circle's a straight line. You told me.
So a circle
You told
doesn't
me
curve.
that things are straight or they're not.
A circle doesn't curve. Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking. Is that what you guys are saying?
no,
God,
the question
no. A
is-
circle curves, obviously. A circle curves.
Okay. So there is curve in a circle.
Yeah. So the best way to describe a curve might be to define the center point and the distance from the center point.
That would be to define a circle, perhaps.
Or the curve.
And not necessarily. There are curves besides a circle. No?
Yeah, but each curve will have its own arc, and that arc will have its own radius. And that's how you would form a curve. Or at least me, anyway. That's the way I describe a curve.
Yeah, but how would you describe an ellipse?
Two different curves.
Two different
with
center points, right?
Yeah. So that's you would need that center point and the distance from that center point to describe the curve.
And how about a non-straight line? Just when it curves.
You mean a tilt?
With endpoints.
A tilt or a
How would you
slope
measure
or a
that?
grade?
I mean,
Oh,
how
come
would
on,
you
you've
measure
not
it?
really studied this, have you?
Oh, quite, I have. Yeah, but then
Really?
I don't really want to. I don't want to
That
go.
was a joke, wasn't it? That wasn't.
Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. No, of course I've studied this.
Okay.
You didn't study very hard, did you?
How
Well,
would you
studied,
measure
it?
You didn't sit the exam.
I said the exam, and I did well. If I said you can measure the length of a curve, what would you say? Not possible?
I'd say, go on.
Yeah, off you go.
Brilliant. You can measure the length of a curve. Yeah, of course you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Piece of piss. You just
Okay. I'm curious. How would you go about that?
How would I go about it?
Sure. Well,
I go, show me the curve.
Okay.
Go on. Show us the curve.
Which is what I asked you. Show
No,
me the
you said
curve. What
you said
measure
can
want?
you can measure it, and I'll say show me the curve, and I'll measure it. Show it me.
Okay. I don't. If it's a curve I can define by a function, I don't even need to see it.
I've got
to measure the curve.
I've got a
I have
tape
to dig
measure
out my
here.
calculus book.
I've got a laser tape measure, right? That's got a wheel on it that measures distances with a wheel, and it's got a bit of string in it. Have you got that stringy bit on it as well?
No, this
Because
one's
that
just,
goes
just
over
like
curves.
Tracks
Yeah.
the wheel. And yeah, it gives you a distance, and you can measure around curves.
Yeah.
So it's great.
It is. It's ace. So yeah, we've got tools for doing that. Yep.
We're millimeter accurate as well.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Okay.
It was a really good investment, actually.
What
That
What
sounds
do
like
you
a
use?
nice toy.
What do you use for measuring curves?
Well, to be fair, I rarely have a use for measuring curves or even straight lines, other than maybe
I can't think
where
of
to
a
put a wall
tool
socket.
that I have that is not worth its investment.
So you're not very practical then, is what you're saying. If you don't measure things and you have no need for measuring tools, and do you use leveling tools at all?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't often need to do these things. That doesn't mean that I couldn't do them. It just means I have use for it.
You've read a book.
Now what I use measuring tapes and levels. If I'm trying to figure where to cut a wall socket in a wall, I know just where I want to put it, then I will measure at that point. Cut the socket in, and that would be that.
Really badly now.
Yeah, I think you might be getting. Are you getting a bit too close to your mic or something? Or getting a bit heated?
No.
Yeah,
I really haven't moved much.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Guys,
Bang-
check
Bane's
the
in again.
check the debate.
Yeah.
Let me try something else.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
Helgi.
just one sec.
Helgi would just like to say that you do not represent him.
Okay,
so you've just been disowned, mate.
I've been disowned. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, you've been
Oh, well.
disowned by another baller. They've just stated
it's
that
probably-
you
it's-
do not represent them.
Okay, I never claimed to, but it's probably not the first time I'll be disowned today.
You never claimed to be a baller.
No, I said never claimed to be representing somebody else. I
No,
represent
but
me.
you are representing the ball, aren't you?
Or you're trying to
I'm
represent
representing-
your version
Yeah, well, yeah.
of
My proposal, yes.
Your proposal.
See, now we're back to the proposal.
The proposal of your model.
It was a proposition, wasn't it? Not a proposal.
Yeah. I don't represent Bane, Flat Earth Bane, or anybody else. I represent ICQ.
Not
Bane?
very well.
Why
You
did
don't-
you... Who brought Bane up?
He's in
Somebody
the chat,
asked.
Oh.
He's in the chat, look.
Bane's here, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Bane's here as well.
Yeah, Bane's
Good
here.
evening, Bane.
He's probably sore from...
Are we tapping out? You're not tapping out yet, are you, ICQ?
He did say he's got to go to work.
Me?
Oh,
No.
yeah, he's got to go.
Although I have
change
just
for
a
work.
little... I really only have a little bit of time left before I have to go to work. Get ready for work.
Okay, well,
Bane's in
can
his
I just say before you go, it was nice of you to pop in and apologise for your, for want of a better word, lie about me. It was nice of you
Okay.
to rectify the
For
mistake.
misquoting you, how's that?
Misquoting?
Okay.
How about blatant lie? Because it suited your narrative.
Well, if that's...
And
if,
the way
if
the
that
way
makes
you
you
wanted
feel
to
better.
represent me. More importantly,
Okay.
you wanted
I
to
will-
fit. You wanted to fit me within a narrative in your head. So to do that, you had to lie about me.
Okay.
So thank you for coming
what
in,
you-
rectifying
Oh, yeah.
your error, and apologising for the lie.
Yeah, that was very
And
nice.
I hope, and I hope that one day you can do the same for me. If you
I've
want to
never
call it a
lied.
lie, I'll
I've never
accept
lied
that.
about you.
Yeah.
It's
I'll tell you what. Go back through the
Huh.
chat. Go back through the chat and find where I have lied about you.
No, he's
You bring-
just saying one day you might lie about him and then
Thank
need
you.
to apologise.
Oh, it was. Oh,
Right.
there we go. Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to
Oh,
say.
brilliant. If that situation arises, I'd be glad to, but
Okay.
I don't think it
It's
will.
just- Yeah, and I will endeavor not to quote you when things that are amalgamations of
misquote.
other things.
Yeah, are you any
Misquote
good at
you on
maths?
amalgamations? Yes.
You can quote me.
I will quote you when when you've actually typed those words or spoken them.
Yeah,
How's that?
absolutely. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, of course you can. If I have said those things, you may quote me verbatim.
Okay.
Because we know what that means now, don't
That
we?
is what a quote is.
Yeah. Well done.
Verbatim, yeah. Uh-huh. So we've beaten that topic up, I think. But yes, okay. By the way, does this sound any better? I put the mic on Omni. I'm hoping.
No,
Sounds a
that
little
crackle's
better.
still there. You've still got that.
Yeah.
It's
It
still-
is definitely a wire. It's an electrical crackle, I think.
Can I just before you go? I don't want to push you out or anything, but are you any good at maths or geometry? Earth, like
I'm
your curve maths? I don't know. Yeah, curve maths.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm just a little rusty on some other.
Do you
perhaps I might
work?
have
Do
to
you
look
work
up
in
on
metric? Because
I don't
Ruhif
care what the
started.
units are.
Yeah, Ruhif started us off, and we're calling these the Ruhif numbers since he was the brave enough to start them, and we're basing it on Slice Barkane's bending water level test. Right, and now
Okay.
Ruhif started it. So what you've got to imagine is Slice Barkane has 100 meters of a water level. So these individual water levels, they're not getting joined up. So there's one and every 100 meters you will line up the water level at each end, and it'll go for another 100 meters. So it's going to go for 1,600 meters. Right? Now,
Okay.
you've got to stand at the beginning. Right? And then what we're doing is challenge is to calculate the drop over a certain distance. Right?
This is looking away from the point of observation.
Yeah. I can give you an idea, right? Ruhif started us with the first 5. Right, so Ruhif has got his name on the first 5. I can give you them in case you want to check them and do any alterations or anything, right?
Okay.
So, first 100 meters on Ruhif's, on the Ruhif numbers, the water level drops 1 millimeter.
Okay.
You like that? Does that sound good?
Can I just check that he's got a pen to write these down? You might need to write these down.
I'm looking for. I've got a pen. Some paper.
So it's got to get exponentially more curved, right?
Well, the first one, as stated by Ruhif, 1 millimeter. 100, first 100 meters, from 0 to 100 meters, 1 millimeter drop. Right, you've got to be stood at the one at the beginning, as when Ruhif does this, because Ruhif stated that they're the rules.
So 100 meters.
Yeah.
A drop of 1 millimeter.
Yeah, and then at 200 meters, you can't move. You've got to stay at the beginning point. So you're at 0, and then you've added another 100 meter water level, onto the other one. He says 3.1 millimeters. He's only going to 1 decimal place.
Okay.
Third one, 300 meters, 7.1. Fourth one, 12.6. And the fifth one, oh, sorry, I don't want to.
That's 12.6
and
millimeters.
Fifth one, 19.6.
19.6.
And then, so Ruhif has took all of those numbers. They're his. You can come back with an alteration if you want, or you can just give us 6, 7, a few of them. Or you can leave a few for some of your mates if you want. But you can put your name on the board once we. If you give us a number, we'll put your number down on the board. Put your name next to it.
Okay.
Challenge.
Yeah. So I have a little puzzle to solve.
A puzzle to solve that was instigated by Ruhif.
It's weird that. Do you not know them? I thought you would have known them. Do you normally work in feet and inches or something?
Oh, I normally work in feet and inches, yeah.
Okay, so what's your usual drop number that you work with?
Yeah.
Well, I usually just go with the rule of thumb of 8 inches per mile squared. But I know that doesn't last for long.
8 inches per mile squared.
Well,
wow.
Say it doesn't last for long. They claim it can be accurate up to 1,000 miles, isn't it, or something?
Do you not use the classic 8 inches times the distance in miles squared?
I think that's what I was saying, but I maybe didn't say it as precisely.
Yeah, you probably didn't say it as eloquently as that.
Yes.
That's the preferred
8 inches
times the distance in miles squared. Yeah.
That was.
Would you say that sounds like a good way to describe a curve? I mean, because you didn't even try anything like that before, did you?
Before, meaning
when I asked you to try and describe a curve for us.
Okay, I mean that would be one way to describe a curve.
You think that describe a curve? Do you?
I do.
You think that
a parabolic curve?
That them numbers describe a curve. It's like visually, is that what you see, that 8 inches times the distance in miles squared, and think, wow, that describes a curve to me. I'd say wrong because it didn't even come into your mind before when I was asking you to describe a curve. You
No,
completely missed
when I
that.
go to describe a curve, I look at the curve and say it looks like that. And I get what you, and I get that. And when you look at the horizon, it looks like a straight line.
It doesn't look like 8 inches times the distance in miles squared when you see the horizon, does it not?
I would say, okay, yeah, I mean, I don't look at the curve and say it looks like 8 inches per distance mile squared. And it doesn't look like, I mean, I don't look at it and say, hey, it looks like a formula.
No, I'd say it looks like a straight line. I mean, that would be much better, wouldn't it?
I would say if I'm standing at the beach and looking out, it looks like a straight line.
Yeah.
I agree. You won't be able to quote me denying that it looks like a straight line.
Well, I don't think anybody here was going to quote you on anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you say then?
I'm agreeing.
It looks like it is in a plane parallel to that of all horizontals. At least looks like it.
It looks like it's in a plane, and that plane would be parallel to all other horizontals. Okay, and in fact, I would say, actually, I would positively say it is in a plane that is parallel with other horizontals from that observation point.
Okay. Do you, we try the 3 coplanar points. You know, if you're looking out, right, to the horizon on a plane, horizontal, and you imagine, just put a point out there, you're right, on the horizon, and then you turn 120 degrees. And you look out and you put another point out there on the horizon, and you turn again another 120 and you put another point out there. So you've got 3 points, and they are all on the horizon, right? Just your visual limit, right? Now, would you say that because you've just put 3 points on the horizon, that you would have established a plane, 3 coplanar points? You know,
We've got some tunes.
that's a good tune. That I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Right, so 3.
I would say
Bam.
3 coplanar point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bam.
3 coplanar points that are on the horizon. I would say you have established the plane that the horizon is in.
Okay, so that would you say that 3 coplanar points plane that you've just made, would you say that is parallel to the plane of the horizon?
No, that is the plane of the horizon.
Okay, so would you call that then a horizontal plane that the 3 coplanar points are on?
Yes, they're horizontal from my observation point. Yes.
Okay, so you've just established a horizontal plane.
Are they,
Sure.
Can I get a question, Bev? Just quick. Are they those 3 points? Are they 1, 2, 3, or are they A, B, C? The points. How would you?
ABC is just as easy as 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Bam. It's a tribute.
You guys are too fucking much, okay?
We're always having fun, Rob, right?
Yeah, it's all about having fun now, Rob. They've done themselves so badly. It's all about having fun now. Just playing with them. Because they've got nothing.
Like cats playing with their food.
Cleary is actually pretty funny. I'd like to hear more from him.
Cleary has his moments.
Cleary is the funniest guy out there, man. There's nobody funnier than Cleary.
Rob, stop
Sorry,
it.
Cleary.
Stop it. He can only just get his head in his truck at the moment.
Don't
so-
encourage him.
Rob,
Oh my goodness.
why is your neck in, Cleary?
Yeah.
No singing is right.
I'm putting in debate discussion.
Yeah, I have to get some work done.
3 coplanar points.
3 coplanar points.
Bam.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
On the level.
The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the Earth. It really is.
Level.
It really is.
Level.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
Feel free.
3 coplanar points on the level.
Mind
3
if I put
coplanar
somebody in
points
here?
on the level. 3 coplanar
Yeah,
points.
Pocan, sometimes I would turn off my mic so that I wasn't irritating people. But, I'm told I can't just listen, so I usually spend more time in the text chat.
3 coplanar points on the level. 3 coplanar points on the level. 3 coplanar points.
Well, would be an idea. I have very little time to play with that, but I keep working on trying different things. My mic sounds awesome from where I sit, but it's getting lost.
What? It sounds awesome from where you are.
3 points.
Yes. So it's getting lost. The signal's getting
Don't
distorted somewhere
feed
along
your
the line.
mic back through so you can hear it.
There's the radius of the Earth.
That
could
might
be
be
your
where it's
problem.
wrong.
Yeah. Do you
It's
use
not feeding
headphones?
back. It's going into headphones.
Well, how
It's going
can you
straight away
hear
into-
yourself?
It's coming in the headphones. They plug right in the bottom of the mic.
Coming in me ears.
It's not feedback, for sure.
It's electrical. I think there's a connection gone somewhere. I wonder if Buttboy took those measurements down that you gave to ICQ, Bev.
Yeah, put me down for 66.6 at distance X.
Which one's that?
Did we hear a whisper?
Which one's that?
X. At X.
At where?
At distance X.
Who's got the
No,
static?
we've got 1 to 16, and Ruhif's already took 1 to 5. So there's only 11 more left.
Oh, I don't.
We
Why
do
did
not.
he
We
only
do
pick
not have
5,
an X.
Or did you guys assign him 5?
No, he just did the first 5.
Yeah, I didn't want to push it too much, but I mean, he was.
Oh.
It's the best. I mean, it's took me quite a while to get any sort of distances off anyone. So Ruhif has led the charge. I wanted to give everybody else a chance.
So for the first 5, if your auto level only shows a difference of 5 millimeters, like at the most. Like
No,
5
this is the Slice Barcane 100 meter water level thing. It's not. This isn't auto level or anything. This
Hang
is
on.
specifically 100 meters
Yeah,
for
but
the
couldn't we
Slice
Hang on,
check it?
Barcane.
Rob.
Check
Rob,
it.
hang on. ICQ, can you just mute your mic because I think we're getting static feedback from you.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
it is. So I'll go back on mute.
No, it's all right, Rob. I just want to get rid of that static.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
It's really
it's
difficult
pretty
to
annoying.
hear you. Yeah, so I'm going to mute ICQ because he's not saying anything.
There you
I
go.
did get a new mic
Yeah.
though.
That's
There we
better.
Is
go.
that 19.1 millimeters at 500 meters?
19.6. Oh, is that a new one? Are you
I'm asking you what you said.
19.6? I didn't say it. This is what Ruhif has give us. Yeah,
So less than
19.6.
an inch.
Yeah, because an inch is about 25 millimeters, right?
Yeah, 25.4.
Yeah.
You guys all work in inches, I guess. Except for Rob King probably works in both.
I can easily go onto Google and get both. Right?
My
Like,
well, no,
do
my
the
measuring
conversions real
rod
quick.
is in centimeters. So in,
Oh, really?
in the UK, yeah, we don't have inches.
In
In
Canada,
America,
we deal with both on the
in
regular.
America, you have decimal feet.
Decimal feet.
Oh yeah, I'm not in America, but
yeah.
I thought. Do you guys not talk in miles too?
How'd you get decimal feet? It's weird.
You just divide it by 10.
Do you know what I've noticed as well, Bev? That it is really difficult to buy tape measures over here now in feet.
I can't get them in
Everything's gone
centimeters.
metric. It's a real shame. Real shame.
Well, metric is a lot easier.
He's clipping.
Yeah,
What did he
said,
say?
I think he said metric is a lot easier.
Oh, metric. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're simple. I think the imperial method is a lot more.
I do.
Organic.
Being a workman, it's much
Yeah.
easier to work with
the imperial.
mentally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Wow.
fractions is so much better than decimal places.
The numbers seem to roll easier. I think that's what
Yeah.
it is. It's
And-
just a series of numbers with metric.
And you always end up with a whole number with the fraction system, but with metrics you can lose bits of numbers here, there, and everywhere. It's fucking awful, really, when you think about it.
But what's 3/8 plus a 16th plus a half? That's a lot harder to use than 0.6.
Yeah, but you still get a whole, don't you? You don't lose part of a number. You know, your
Right,
fraction. If it works out to be a fraction,
You're working maths, right? When we're saying it, we're talking measurement, right? It's not adding tons of fractions up of different things. That's not how you work with a measurement scale. Two different
give me an
things.
example of where it's easier. I don't.
It's like if you are working and measuring, it is much easier, I consider, much easier to use imperial.
But did you start?
It's only a personal thing. I mean,
speaking English and then going and living in France. Trying to talk to people. Oh, sorry, guys.
It's an interesting conversation. So, but I'm saying, Bev, did you and DP, did you guys start in Imperial and then switch partway through?
Did you start in Imperial and switch to what? Switch where?
To
What?
metric, or did metric get switched after you were?
yeah, we're not that old, I don't think.
No,
I don't
it's
know
like
when it changed in England.
He's in his car again, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He keeps clipping halfway through.
He's
his
asking
sentence.
us, did the metric system come after us? And I can't remember. At school, I always dealt in metric. Centimeters and meters.
It's really funny because I remember learning both. You know, I remember learning the fractions and the decimals. And
Imperial's older than metric.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I think what he's asking is, did the metric come before? But for me, yes. When I was at work, I had the option of using either, and I chose to use imperial because it, to me, just easier.
Yeah, I mean, I started a engineering apprenticeship, and you know, we could measure in imperial, in fractions, but the machines were calibrated in metric.
Yeah.
You know, so we can use both.
Yeah,
but the
and we do
serving
too,
route is
construction.
What
serving route's much better in metric millimeters.
Is that decimal feet? Decimal feet. That's well.
Yeah, decimal feet would.
It's decimal meters.
No, decimal feet is what they use in America. Don't you know that, Bane?
I'm not in America.
Well, don't
I'm not
correct
in
me.
United States of America.
Don't correct me to something that you don't know anything about.
You said centimeter.
No, I said decimal feet, and then you corrected me when you don't know what I'm talking about, and you obviously don't know what you're talking about.
Good to know.
Deborah? Deborah?
Are you crying?
No, I'm
Why
not.
do people just automatically disagree with everything? I mean, is this like what it's going to be every time somebody comes to see it? I don't get it.
Yeah.
You're just going to automatically disagree.
Yeah.
Default.
Yeah, it's auto.
I don't like your point of view. You are wrong on everything. Is that right, Bane?
Well, we were having a pretty good conversation. You could just say, no, I was talking about the States. But you got to get butthurt.
We're having a good conversation with you disagreeing about everything we say.
Did I?
Yeah, you told me I was wrong with decimal feet being used in America.
I said, did I?
And
or
you
did I
don't
say,
even
isn't it?
you don't even know that they do, in actual fact, use decimal feet in America because, like you
Why
say,
go in there?
you're Canadian.
Right.
So why correct me when you don't
Okay,
know?
it's fine. I'm wrong. I don't care. Thank you for pointing that out. You don't need to get butthurt about it.
I'm not getting flustered about it. I'm just asking you why you have to come here and think you're right about everything.
I said, isn't it?
Isn't
Decimal
it
meter?
what? Isn't it what?
Decimal meters is what I said, didn't I?
Yes,
It's
meters
a
are
beautiful day.
decimal.
Okay.
What's your point?
Good. All right. Fine. In the states that none of us live in, they use decimal feet.
They use decimal feet. Yes, they do.
Great.
Do you know how they use decimal feet?
They divide a foot by 10.
Exactly.
So that matters why?
No, I didn't say it matters at all. Why do you think it
Okay,
matters?
so why are we still talking
Why
about it?
why
You're
do
right.
you think it matters? You asked me why it matters. I don't think it matters at all. Why do you think it matters?
I don't. That's why I don't care about talking about it. So you're
Well,
right. They
why
use
did you
decimal
bring it
feet
up? Why did you bring up whether it matters or not?
Because you keep talking about it.
You brought it up.
Uh-huh. I did.
You corrected
I
me.
brought up decimal feet?
No, I brought up decimal feet, and you corrected me, telling me I was wrong when you didn't know anything about it.
And now I admit you're right. Do we still need to talk about it?
No, we don't.
Okay,
But you
cool.
keep banging on about it.
All right, I'm done. Are you done?
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
So when did metric system get adopted in the UK? I mean, ours was about
1971.
Really? Before
We went
Canada.
decimal in 1971. Yes, we did. We changed
Ooh.
from pound, shilling, and pence.
It's a good year.
So it was a very good year. Very good year.
Who's scratching something?
You stop. It's
So
you.
a pence is not.
What? No, it wasn't me.
It was you.
It was not me. Blimey. 1971.
I'll be over.
What is this, the battle of the shite mics?
You shite Mike fight night.
Someone invite Naps as well.
Yeah. Shite Mike
What,
night.
Naps wants to come in?
That's a winner.
No, I was just saying for Shite Mike night.
Oh, right.
Invited.
No, shite Mike
Yeah,
fight
Mike
night.
Date or what?
That was funny by Cleary. I forget what he said, but it was good.
What's Brandon doing? Is he doing
He's got what's his name?
I think Fokker was supposed
spheres?
to be on.
He's got spheres or something. It doesn't really seem to be promoted as Fokker.
No,
we got 50 in the chat as well. Blimey, they're all descending.
Wow.
50, where's 50?
He's in the debate discussion lot.
Yeah.
He'll come in when he's drunk.
Yeah, when he's hit the Jägermeister, we'll be in.
Is he asking about what Euclid? Oh, we wanted some quotes from Euclid. I'm not too sure whether there's any quotes.
Is it still scratchy, Emma?
No, it's better.
You stopped scratching now.
I've not moved.
You did.
You've stopped scratching as well.
Yep.
You know what they say? The one who doesn't hear it is the one who did it.
I thought it was
No.
the one who smelt it, dealt it.
That's
No,
exactly
because I hear
That's-
everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
The one who
Yeah, but we all
denied it
heard it
supplied it.
Exactly. That's the one.
So how do you think Naps did last night then, Chunky?
Who?
Naps.
Oh, no. Yeah, Naps not very well. She guys couldn't understand the question she asked that you repeated back.
don't you think it was funny though that she went in, right, telling Bev that he didn't understand anything about geometry, right? And then she did her, what was it, about 24 seconds opener when she was given, 5 minutes? And she did 24 seconds. That's not really very good, is it, for an opener? Anyway,
I actually missed that.
She went in, all guns blazing, telling Bev he didn't know anything about geometry, and then her first question to Bev was, please explain geometry to me. Don't you find that a little bit weird?
I didn't hear that question. The question I heard was asking Bev to read what Euclid thought the horizon was.
No. That was
and why he
about
disagreed.
That was about 4 questions in. Her first question to Bev was, can you explain geometry to me, Bev?
It might have been asking about the horizon, perhaps. I can't,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was horizon.
And then she tried to tell me to read something, but then that's where the mic went, and she didn't
So
ever...
you needed her mic to work to read something?
I was asking her what she was asking me to read. I couldn't hear.
I posted it in chat.
What?
No, you don't watch the chat when you're in a debate, do you? You never watch the chat.
You posted something for her. Like, I didn't hear what she was saying, so I was asking.
For you?
Oh,
Except for you repeated
okay, so
it back, Bev.
she said something
Right.
that I couldn't hear, and then you posted something in the chat. And did them two things have any relation to each other?
Yes, because I could hear what she asked.
I couldn't.
But why did you ask?
Did you tell her to do that, or were you in a different chat or something with her?
No, I think if you remember, I said I knew that she would ask that.
You knew that she would ask that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you can't answer it, Bev.
Can't answer
Because
what?
She follows instructions. That's
Yeah.
what it is. She follows instructions.
What does Euclid say the horizon is, and do you agree?
Oh, is that? Oh, that's what 50's just said that as well.
Is that question
in the debate discussion?
Because everybody
Isn't that
knows
weird?
it, except for you're avoiding it. Everybody
Am I
knows we're talking
avoiding
about this, and you're
what?
afraid of it.
Sorry, what am I avoiding?
What does Euclid say the horizon is?
Why do I care what Euclid said about the horizon? Like,
Okay,
I've heard you say that you think the horizon is a circle, even though you know it's a straight line. You say it's a straight line.
He did say it's a straight line.
Yeah, of course he did. He
It
said
appears straight.
and we've just put 3 points on it, and all of that sort of stuff. I mean,
yeah, absolutely said it was a straight line, and I
No, I
am
didn't.
quoting
If I said
you
that-
on that.
And if I said that, DP, I spoke.
you misspoke.
It appears to be a straight line.
Okay.
Because when you look at a circle at into the plane, so you're only seeing it in one dimension, it looks like a line.
Okay. Yeah.
Looks like
Looks like a line, like a straight line, as defined in mathematics. A line. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and you also still think a surface is three-dimensional, right, Bev? Or no?
The surface of a sphere is definitely three-dimensional. Yes.
How do you figure out the volume of the surface of a sphere?
What do you mean?
4 pi r squared is
Sorry?
the surface area of a sphere.
Sorry, did
What's
you?
the volume?
Sorry, did you just ask me to work out the volume of the surface of a sphere?
Yes.
Why?
Well, if it's three-dimensional, you can figure it out.
What, the volume of the surface of a sphere? Because
If it's
it's three-dimensional. You think it must therefore have a volume.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I'm not so sure about that.
Really? Okay. Can I quote you on that, or would that be a lie?
What, the surface of a sphere having a volume? When you find that out, right? You come back to me.
No, it does not have a volume. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
That's two-dimensional.
No.
That's why it's
It's a three-dimensional surface of a sphere. Surely.
There's no such thing as a three-dimensional surface because everything that's three-dimensional has a volume. Something that's two-dimensional has an area.
Sorry?
You didn't get to that part in geometry yet?
Everything that is three-dimensional
has a volume.
Okay, so you tell me then, what is the volume of the surface of a sphere, please?
It doesn't have any because it's two-dimensional.
You think a surface of a sphere is two-dimensional? What is your definition of two-dimensional?
Length and breadth.
Okay,
length
so
width,
like would be like, so two-dimensional would be like a plane. That's a two-dimensional
Plane
surface. Yeah?
Sure. Yeah.
And you think the surface of a sphere is a plane?
No.
Sorry, what was that? Your mic broke up.
No.
No. Oh. But you did just say that you said the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional, and a two-dimensional surface is a plane.
No, a plane is also two-dimensional.
Also, yeah, a plane is a two-dimensional surface. Please
a triangle is a shape.
Yeah.
And a square is a shape, but a triangle is not a square.
Three coplanar points. It's that's a plane. Three coplanar points. A triangle. Woohoo! That's what describes a triangle. Three coplanar points.
The surface of a sphere is also a surface.
What? The surface of a sphere is three-dimensional.
The baby right.
Nope. What is the volume of the surface of a sphere?
Would you stop going? You tell me, what's the volume of the surface of a sphere?
It doesn't have a volume because it's two-dimensional.
It's not two-dimensional.
Then what's the volume?
No, that's not how you work out what a volume is. Because of something...
Is a cube with sides 1, 1, and 1 a volume?
Sorry?
Is a cube with sides 1, 1, and 1, is it three-dimensional?
The surface would be a developable surface, right? Being able to be expressed on a two-dimensional surface. Yeah?
That's nowhere near the point.
That's the surface.
Anyways,
yeah, the surface of a cube would be a developable surface, right?
Why don't you Google surface of a sphere tomorrow, and we'll talk.
It's non-developable surface, I'll tell you.
No, I'm home and I'm gonna go eat.
Okay, that was good. Right, so what are we on? Next time we come back, 2D balls. Let's go.
Yes.
We'll do that next time.
All right, take this.
Yeah, have a word with Brenda.
I don't know her.
Him.
Him.